When the light's on, it's on.
All right, if I can get everybody to sit down, I think we're ready to start. If I can get existing council members up here, we're going to convene this meeting. If you can all please join me and please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you can remain standing, we're going to have our invocation this evening given to us by Police Chaplain Bob Barnett.
Lord God, we begin this evening, this special evening, with a great sense of thankfulness. We're always thankful for people who step to the forefront and are willing to lead. We're very mindful tonight of the council members who have led so faithfully up to this point in time, who've given sacrificially of their time, their energy, their gifts, their talents. We ask a special blessing upon them and their families with great favor and success ahead. For the new council members, we ask tonight that you would grant them discernment and wisdom and blessing and favor, that the days ahead would be great and wonderful. Bless this night. Bless those that lead our community, and bless our city. In the name of the Lord. Amen.
Thank you for that invocation, Chaplain Bob Barnett. And now I'm going to turn our attention to the resolution declaring results of the general municipal election that occurred past November 7th, 2006. You all have it as Exhibit A, and I would entertain a motion on adopting such resolution.
Move the item.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now I'm going to direct our attention to our second item on our agenda this evening, which is the 2004-2006 Council. And thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask outgoing council members if they have any comments to make them at this time, and we'll go with ladies first, Mike, if that's okay, and we'll start with Mayor Pro Tem Lisa Bist.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll just make a few comments, I guess. It seems like 8 years went by pretty fast until I start to think back about where I was 8 years ago. 1998, I guess, was quite a long time ago when I was working at Ernst & Young doing Y2K conversions, and gee, Y2K seems like that was a long time ago. So the first few months when I was on the council, we actually enjoyed several wonderful openings: Ronald Reagan Federal Courthouse, the Discovery Science Center, and the Cal State Fulton Grand Central Arts Center. So those feel like they've been part of the landscape for an awful long time now, but it has been just about 8 years. And probably the most telling things of all is that nobody on the city council had a cell phone 8 years ago when I got elected, but I think everybody's getting BlackBerries now, so times have changed pretty quickly at City Hall in that time. When I look back, I can see how far we've come as a city. You know, this city in 8 years is a safer city. Our crime statistics are much lower than they were 8 years ago. It's a much cleaner city. We've done a lot of things to just kind of pretty it up and make it more aesthetically pleasing. We've done got a lot of public investment in infrastructure and various facilities, but we've also had just a huge increase in private investment over the past history. So it's been quite an exciting time over the last 8 years, and I'm really happy to have been part of making some of those things happen. Now, there's many things that I worked on that I expected to work on when I got elected 8 years ago, and things that people expected me to do. Neighborhood issues, obviously, neighborhood code enforcement issues, fences, commercial parking in neighborhoods, shopping carts, those types of things. We paved a lot of alleys. We did alley cleanup. We did just a bunch of good stuff for the neighborhoods. But I'm probably the most proud of a couple things in the neighborhoods that people may not be thinking of. I'm actually very proud of the work that I did with the Logan neighborhood and the reconstruction of their community center. It was much needed and much overlooked for many years, and I'm really happy to have been a part of really changing the landscape in that neighborhood, and also the closing of the methadone clinic in the Lacey neighborhood. Those are both really significant for me. And I know the incoming council members also have a lot of vision and a lot of excitement about what they're going to work on, but there's going to be a bunch of stuff you work on that you really didn't plan on at all, and some of those things will be the things that you're the most proud of. When I thought of those things myself, I thought of the tobacco ordinance that we just recently passed for the tobacco licensing, but I also thought of the work that Councilmember Franklin and I did with the animal shelter and the animal services. We put probably more time into that effort than anything else over a long period of time. And it was long overdue, and it was very worthwhile effort, and a lot of people wouldn't even know how much we worked on it and what we did there. And then the McFadden Learning Center, opening that up as a computer lab and technical center for the community. I'm very happy that we did that and providing that to the neighborhood and to the residents out there. Finally, I'd like to thank city staff. You guys have been wonderful. You've been great to work with. You've always kept my priorities in mind, and you've always encouraged me and helped me along the way, and I really do appreciate all the work that staff does. It's not a job I'd want to do, I can tell you right now. I would much rather do this job than your job. I think it's a very hard job that city staff has to try and keep up with all of us and our different directions that we're headed in, and I really do appreciate the support you've given me over the years. So when people ask if it's hard to leave, it's not so hard to leave the seat or the title or the homework on Sunday nights before council meetings, but it is hard to leave the people. It's like changing jobs. So I'm going to miss a lot of great people here at City Hall that I've worked with over the last 8 years, and actually many years before that on the commission. So that's the real hard part. But I've enjoyed working with everyone, and it's time to move on to something else. So finally, I guess I'd like to just say it's really been an honor and a privilege to represent the residents and the businesses and the nonprofit organizations in the city. And I want to thank you all for that honor and privilege. Thank you.
And now, Councilmember Alberta Christie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to each and every one. It has been an honor for me to serve the city of Santa Ana as a council member of Ward 4 for the past 8 years. In my heart, there is so much love for this community. I have so many to thank as I look back on my years on the council. So many of you have given your time, your energy, and efforts toward a shared vision for our city. I thank you for your support and inspiration. To all of those who voted for me, I thank you for trusting in my leadership abilities and looking beyond the color of my skin to give me the opportunity to serve each and every one of you. I thank my family who's here tonight. Caitlin, Ian, Dory, David, stand, please. Oh, he's recording this. My son, David. For your allowing me and your patience and all the Miss Family dinners, and for Caitlin and Ian to follow me every event that the city had, and sharing all the many different cultures and festivals that we had in their city, and broaden their horizon on understanding as children what each culture represents and how we have so much in common to break down the walls of prejudice and intolerance in our world. I also thank Dave Ream and the entire City Manager's Office staff for their leadership in sustaining a well-managed city that is respected among other cities, not only locally and statewide, but also nationally. You've kept us informed of the important and relevant issues affecting our city and maintained a high degree of professionalism when acting on our behalf with residents and other local officials. I thank also to all the City of Santa Ana employees who care so deeply about our community and give of themselves as true dedicated public servants. They're well respected and envied throughout all of Orange County for their dedication beyond the work hours. Your work and commitment is appreciated by each and every one of us on the council and also in our community. My 4 main priorities during my time on the council were public safety, the pride and integrity of our neighborhoods, meeting the growing needs of our youth and seniors, and encourage business investment. There are many individuals and groups and collaborating teams that played a strong role in making a positive difference in each of these areas. Santa Ana's police and fire department are both well respected, not only locally, but nationally, and the most giving of all in servants to small cities and states around this country. And to them, they thank you for your unselfishness and sharing lessons learned where they have learned to put Homeland Security in the forefront of their particular region or area. I am honored to have had the opportunity to work with the proud men and women who protect us each and every day to ensure this our safe community. You set a high standard and are entrusted with providing leadership on such important issues as Homeland Security. On behalf of the neighborhoods, and especially in Ward 4, who have waited over 35 years, I want to thank Jim Ross and the Public Works Department for working to provide Elder, Brochard, Laverne, Wilshire Street with curbs, sidewalks, and gutters for the first time in 40 years. We thank you. And the speed humps around Valley, we thank you for that safety. Meeting these important neighborhood needs make a real difference in the quality of life of our residents. To our Community Preservation Division, thank you also for your efforts in helping to foster neighborhood pride and community understanding. To our neighborhood leaders, your dedication to the betterment and prosperity of the neighborhoods and our city is what sets Santa Ana apart. We also have great partners with the school district, the Santa Ana College, and faith-based organizations who together with Gerardo Moret and the Parks and Recreation Department have worked so diligently in maintaining and improve the youth programs to enhance the leadership, moral and ethical character of our young people. After-school programs, the Youth Commission, and the annual Youth Expo are all for the benefit of our future leaders. And I thank you for our partners in creating and enhancing these opportunities. In addition, we are fortunate to have a very active and involved business community. Thank you, Mike and the Chamber and all of our business. Your significant investment in promoting and meeting the needs of our city is commendable. Working in partnership with a faith-based organization has been a tremendously satisfying and rewarding as well. The leadership of the religious community in Santa Ana is admirable, and your willingness to help address the spiritual and social needs of this community is incredibly appreciated. Over 100 faith-based organizations are part of the Santa Ana Resource Network, several of which who are also take part in our annual faith-based roundtable, actively organizing events such as the annual Days of Good Deeds. I am also especially proud of our Solomon Project, which is on the board, a public-private faith-based partnership which engages in one-on-one mentoring with at-risk youth, includes character-building exercises, and provides educational opportunities in the trade industry and for acquiring other life skills. Truly, I thank everyone who took an interest in this project, the courts, probation, district attorney, and our police department and gang units, and especially the Victim Witness Program, in working diligently to empower youth and eliminate the violence and gang membership. I have to thank this person, the Citibank, my employer, for your support and understanding, not only as my employer, but also socially responsible corporation. Your work with the Mexican Council, Luis Ortiz Haro, who is one of the hardest working and most caring men I know, have resulted in much needed financial service in the community. I commend you and thank you for permitting me to be a councilwoman for Santa Ana. I also commend all of those behind the Bowers Museum who helped bring prominence in the arts and culture to our city. I especially thank you for your generous contribution in expanding the Nashville Library Tibetan exhibit. When I came back from Nashville, you gladly said, we will send them artifacts to expand that exhibit. So if you're ever in Nashville, see from the artifacts from our from Bowers Museum. Not only did they put us in the hearts of the Nashvillians down there, but in the hearts of everyone across the nation. You have put us on the map. Another team that has put us on the map is our current city council. Together, we have shared in a great vision and passion for this city. The new leadership of the city council continues with a great vision and passion to serve. As Rudy Giuliani stated in his book, Leadership, which I keep at my bedside every night, you are entrusted to lead, but leadership does not simply happen. It can be taught, learned, developed. Ultimately, you will know what techniques and approaches work best. Those you hope to lead will tell you that much of your ability to get people to do what they have to do is going to depend on what they perceive when you look at them and listen to them. They need to see someone who is stronger than they are, but human too. May your strength, wisdom, and heart guide you and this city in the best interests of its people. Finally, it is commonly said that parting is such sweet sorrow. At no other moment than now do I feel that is true. I have shaken thousands of hands and received thousands of hugs. With warmth and love of this community and its people are close to my heart. You have included me in your celebrations, shared your milestone moments, and have made me feel as part of your own family. It has been true honor and privilege to serve you and to look with joy at the moments we have shared. May God bless each and every one of you. And my parting comments, thumbs up, Santa Ana.
And now, Councilmember Mike Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. Thumbs up, Alberta. I'd like to start off by thanking the voters who 4 years ago felt confident enough in my abilities to serve as a council member. It was a very big race. There were 6 people involved in that race. I was happy to win among some very good candidates at the time, and I've thoroughly enjoyed my 4 years here. When I came onto council, I thought at the time I was going to focus on bringing my development knowledge and knowledge of local government to my time on council, but then I realized it was probably best to personalize my time, and that led me to create the Santa Ana River Task Force, Santa Ana Health and Fitness Task Force, and my idea about doing those was try to create more open space and park space within our city and try to deal with the obesity issues we have within our city. I was real happy to deal with some of the more unsavory aspects of our community. Putting together the prostitution task force to try to get the police department to continue their efforts on doing undercover operations up and down from MacArthur all the way up to 5th Street and further on Harbor. And those meetings are going to continue, and I'd like to let South Tinajero and the others know that it's very important that we keep those prostitution task force meetings occurring as often as we can, so the police understands that this is a major priority for us. Recently, I worked with the police department on bringing a program that hopefully will be implemented soon in full force, a graffiti tracker, a way to cut down on our administrative time when we're keeping track of the tagging and the monikers that get put up by people doing graffiti. And I hope that program will continue, and it should save us a lot of money in administrative dollars that have to be spent tracking the graffiti that gets put up. Right after I got on council, we had been hoping, and the Riverview West neighborhood had been trying for years to get New Hope repaved, and finally it did, and then we had a hurdle. They wanted to take the parking off of New Hope. And I had a few residents that came to me, and I worked with Jim Ross and others to see where we could keep some residential parking. The little Texas neighborhood where there's actually, you can have livestock, you can have horses and goats. They wanted to be given their own designation, and I was happy to work with them. With Brett Franklin led the charge on that, and we created a Little Texas, a unique little area over by McFadden and New Hope. Those are the things I'm going to remember. Brett Franklin and I also were real happy to work. He had been working with trying to set policy on exotic animals and endangered species exhibits that would occur within the city of Santa Ana. Allison Stanley is now a resident of Santa Ana, and at the time she had been working with Brett for years, and I met with him and I said, this is a great idea, and I'm real happy that we passed that. That's something else I'm always going to remember about my time here on council. Working a lot with Jose Solorio on trying to bring money to the city of Santa Ana. We went up north recently to try to get on Prop 84 to get some money for the Santa Ana River. And Prop 84 passed, and I know he's going to work real hard to get us some money so we can make the Santa Ana River Task Force vision come to fruition. Working with Gerardo Moet and some of our lobbyists, we were able to meet with state parks and rec commissioners, and that worked out great because we were able to get $900,000 for Eddie West to put artificial turf there and $150,000 for the zoo. I'm glad I was able to attend those meetings, and hopefully my part in those meetings helped get some of that money here to Santa Ana. I'm hoping that the new council will continue with a lot of the different programs that this council has put together. I think they're worthwhile. At the same time, I know they have to focus on what they want to do and what they want to personalize and what they want to bring to the city council. I want to thank staff. A lot of them I've known for many, many years. I used to work at the city of Santa Ana from 1993 to 98. I met my wife there. And when I came on council 4 years ago, the best thing about coming back to come into the city council position was coming back to City Hall. I felt like I was coming home. I felt like every time I came in to City Hall, I saw faces I hadn't seen in years and friends that I was able to reacquaint myself with. And I'm going to enjoy my continued relationships with a lot of the full-time employees at the city of Santa Ana, and I know they're going to do a great job for the council, and we'll be the policy arm, and they'll be the administrative arm of our city, and I know they're going to work together very well and accomplish a lot. I finally want to thank my colleagues. I've known them all for many years. I think I got started back in 1996 when Jose Solorio first ran for city council. Got involved in Pat McGuigan's race in 1998 in Alberta Christie's, walking for them. And I think we've kept good relationships. I go to a lot of council meetings. I work with cities for a living, so I go to city council meetings all the time. And I got to tell you, the way we carry ourselves, even if we have difficulties and there are times that we don't agree and sometimes we vehemently disagree on issues, we're always cordial with each other. And I think I want to extend that on to the future council to remember to always be professional. The city's looking for us to present and create a good image for the city of Santa Ana, and I know they'll do that. I guess my actual final thanks is to my wife. 4 years ago, we had already been married at that point for 5 years, and about a year later we started talking about having kids, and I promised her once we started having kids I wouldn't run for re-election. It was real hard to keep that promise, but I did keep it in the end. And if you're watching at home, thank you, Rosa. We now have 2 beautiful kids. We're looking at baby number 3. I started a new career with a new company, and I'm really looking forward to what the future will bring and what the new council will bring to the city of Santa Ana. You know, we had difficult times when I got here. We had a 27 and a 24 million, and I think last year was $13 million budget deficits. We were right in the middle of negotiations with our unions. It was very difficult for the first 3 years of my council here. We were dealing with very tough obstacles, but I think we all came together. We were able to pass a hotel visitor tax, and that wasn't well received by a lot of the business community, but our occupancy rates and average daily rates are up. People thought that it might affect it, but it didn't. And I would encourage them to think outside of the box and look at ways to bring more revenue to the city so we can take care of the necessities that need to be taken care of. So thank you, Santa Ana. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to continue to stay involved, but my time on council has come to an end, so thank you.